to Lorville Stories, presented by your host, Jack Long.
Welcome to Lorville Stories, a podcast about all things Star Citizen, Squadron 42, and the vast world of space games. I've been passionate about Star Citizen for over 3 years now, and it's become a big part of my life. I play regularly, create content on YouTube and Twitch, and some of you might know me from my development videos on Star Citizen's concept ships. I still remember the day I stumbled across Star Citizen on YouTube. Back then, I was primarily a PlayStation player. I didn't even own a PC. In fact, I wasn't a fan of PCs at all. I was a loyal Mac user for years, and let me tell you, Star Citizen completely changed that for me. I was so captivated by the game that I ended up building my own PC just to play it. After trying to play on a laptop for a while, I quickly realized Star Citizen demanded something more powerful. So, I built a rig capable of running this beautiful, complex, and system-heavy game. And I've been hooked ever since. Eventually, I started streaming on YouTube and really enjoyed sharing the experience with a live audience. Through that, I met many of you, awesome members of the community, whether it's through Twitter, one of my favorite social media outlets, or on Discord, where we regularly chat about a game, share screenshots, and dive into Star Citizen's world together. So why a podcast? Well, I love the interviews and speculation other creators do, but I wanted to do something a little different. My goal is to bring you stories about Star Citizen in a unique way, highlighting the lore, new features from 𝗙𝗍, and what's really happening in the community. Yes, there will be times when we speculate, but I want to keep a balance. This podcast will be grounded in facts, directly from Cloud Imperium Games, while also exploring important issues and topics the community is talking about on Reddit, Twitter, and YouTube. I want to create an entertaining space for all Star Citizen fans, players, and even those of you on the fence about jumping into this incredible universe. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Star Citizen is controversial in the gaming world. There are plenty of people who doubt the project and even organize against it. It's been in development for over a decade. And here we are, nearing the end of 2024, still waiting for the full release. I get it. But despite all the skepticism, I'm here for the journey, and I believe it's worth talking about. This is the first episode of Lorville Stories, titled Stake a Claim in the Persistent Universe. So why did I choose this title? Well, one of the features I'm most excited about in Star Citizen is base building. Sure, there's crafting and other aspects I enjoy, but base building is one I've been eagerly waiting for. And finally, during last weekend's CitizenCon, they introduced base building in incredible detail, which made me really happy. Before diving into that, I want to quickly share what you can expect from this podcast moving forward. My plan is to make this a weekly show, where we talk about the latest news around Star Citizen, player stories, and interesting articles from around the globe. We'll also dive into Reddit and Twitter posts, and I feature some standout community stories. Whether it's players who have caught my attention, made an impact on my organization/community, or been involved with my YouTube channel. In the future, I'd love to bring some of these community members onto the podcast for interviews and conversations. But for now, this is episode 1, and we are starting with base building. As the podcast evolves, I'll be adding more features and categories to the show, creating a consistent format. But today, let's focus on what we saw at CitizenCon regarding base building, and why it's such a game changer for Star Citizen. Base building is something I've personally been excited about for a long time. It's a game-changing feature that will allow us to finally make our mark in the persistent universe. Today I want to break down some of the key aspects of base building, the new tools we'll have at our disposal, and how we'll be able to craft and manage our own outposts in Star Citizen. So let's jump right in. So let's start with the basics of base building in Star Citizen, something that has the community buzzing after CitizenCon. The first thing you need to do is assess the land. Not every piece of ground is suitable for building. There are off-limit zones such as protected areas or nature reserves where you won't be able to construct your base. The game will give you warnings so you know exactly where not to build. This feature ensures that when you are staking your claim, it's in the spot that works both for the game and for you. Once you've found the perfect spot, it's time to decide what to build and what materials to use. You'll be able to pick a location and start creating buildings with a wide variety of materials. These materials will affect the durability and overall quality of your structures. So you need to make smart choices based on your resources and goals. Managing the base will be a core part of gameplay as well. The great thing is that connections between structures are designed to be simple and flexible. You can link multiple buildings to one power source or resource supply, which gives you the ability to expand and scale your base over time without overly complicated setups. Now, building the base is just the beginning. You'll also be able to upgrade your structures. Whether you are looking to improve power efficiency, structural integrity, or other aspects of your base, upgrades will be a big part of keeping everything running smoothly. These upgrades will, of course, require resources. So, managing what you collect will be essential to maintaining and improving your base. Another exciting feature is decorating your base. I'm not just talking about function here, I'm talking about style. You'll be able to find, craft, or buy furniture and decorations to personalize your base, really making it feel like your own. Using the Decorator AR mode, you can preview and place items exactly where you want them with precision. The mode even includes holograms and mag locking to ensure everything fits perfectly, whether you're outfitting a base, a hangar, or even a ship. As I'm laying this all out, I'm getting more and more excited about how deep this system goes. And that's just the basics of what we've seen so far. There's so much more potential for creating your own space in the universe, whether it's a personal retreat or a full-on industrial hub. Now, all of this leads perfectly into the next big topic, the scale of the bases and the introduction of crafting and selling. As we wrap up this first section, I have to say I'm really excited about the possibilities that base building brings to Star Citizen. Whether you are settling down in the Stenton system or venturing out to lawless Pyro, this feature is going to give us all the opportunity to stake our claim in the persistent universe. Alright, so now let's talk about what's really exciting. The size of the bases we can build and crafting within the persistent universe. As we've seen at CitizenCon, base building is not just about putting up a small shack and calling it a day. Oh no, the possibilities are way bigger than that. We are talking about substantial bases, ones that can serve multiple purposes, as homes, manufacturing hubs, or even trade outposts. You have plenty of room to grow and expand your base as you gather more resources. And trust me, once you get going, you want to make your base as efficient and useful as possible. Now, when it comes to crafting, this feature is a total game changer. Not only will you be able to create items for your personal use, things like weapons, tools and gear, but you can also craft items to sell to other players. This opens up a whole new economy within Star Citizen. Think about it. You could set up your base to be a full-on production facility, crafting rare or high-demand items and selling them to players who don't want to or can't make them themselves. Here's where it gets really interesting. Depending on the materials you use and the upgrades you apply, the items you craft could be higher quality than what's available elsewhere in the game. That means your crafted goods could fetch a nice price on the market, giving you another revenue stream. And let's not forget about resource management. To make all this work, you need to manage your power and supply chains effectively. For example, power generators need to be hooked up to every building. And the more complex your base, the more power and resources it's going to need. If you run out of fuel, your production stops. So there's a balance to strike between growth and sustainability. There's also a maintenance aspect to keep in mind. You need to keep your base running smoothly by maintaining structures and ensuring they have everything they need to operate. It's like running a small city. If something breaks down, it could have a ripple effect across your whole operation. One thing I love about the system is how flexible it is. You can start small with a simple base, just enough to call a home. But as you gather resources and build out, your base can become an industrial powerhouse. And you don't have to do it alone. Teaming up with friends or your organization means you can specialize in different tasks. One of you could handle crafting, another focuses on resource gathering, and so on. Another aspect worth mentioning is upgrading your structures. This isn't just about making things look better. Upgrading actually impacts how well your base performs. For instance, you can improve power efficiency, resource consumption, and even the durability of buildings. The better your upgrades, the more smoothly your base will run, and the longer it will last without needing repairs. And finally, decorating your base. Let's not forget the aesthetic side of things. You can customize your base to reflect your style or the purpose you have in mind. Whether you want it to be a sleek, high-tech outpost or a cozy, homey retreat, there's a ton of furniture and decorations you can craft, find or buy. And with the Decorator AR mode, placing and adjusting those items is super intuitive. So to wrap this section up, the potential for base building is huge. Whether you are focused on crafting for profit, building your own little empire, or just having a cool space to hang out with friends, Star Citizen's base building system has something for everyone. I can't wait to see what kind of outposts and bases the community creates once this feature goes live. One thing I definitely want to highlight is the size of the base you can build. The possibilities are huge. You can go as big as you want, depending on how you manage your resources and space. During the CitizenCon presentation, we saw all sorts of different buildings being introduced, and I'm particularly excited about the freight elevators, landing pads, and the network of hubs for other players to use. These elements are going to make the bases not just personal outposts, but functional, collaborative spaces in the game's economy and social ecosystem. Imagine setting up a freight elevator system for transporting goods or creating landing zones for others to come and trade or refuel. This opens the door for creating your own trade hubs or strategic locations for your organization. It's all about how you want to grow your base. Whether you want something personal and self-sufficient or a massive industrial complex that serves other players as well. Even roads will play a part in base building. Think about it. Having infrastructure that helps you or others navigate around your base adds another layer of realism and functionality. The size of your base will ultimately be determined by how much you want to expand and what kind of control you want over it. What really excites me is the control you have over every aspect of your base. It's all in your hands, from resource management to logistics, and that's a game changer for players who love diving into the details. And let's not forget the customization. You have the ability to truly personalize and grow your base as you see fit. Basically, what we saw at CitizenCon makes it clear that Star Citizen is giving us the tools to create something truly massive if we choose. Whether you want to build a small outpost for yourself or a sprawling hub that others can use, the scale is up to you. Alright, so when we talk about base building, crafting and everything that comes with it, I can't help but draw some parallels with another game that's caught my attention, Dune Awakening. You might have seen the sandworms introduced at CitizenCon, which actually play a role in the Star Citizen lore, particularly in the layer system. It made me think of Dune, especially with the upcoming release of Dune Awakening, which is set in the iconic Dune universe, and has really piqued my interest. Dune Awakening has been in the works for a while, and it's going to be an MMO like Star Citizen, though on a very different scale. It's much smaller in scope and focuses on different gameplay elements, but there's something funny about the timing. Star Citizen and 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗏 games dropped big news about base building and sandworms at CitizenCon, almost as if it was in response to Dune Awakening's announcements. It's like Chris Roberts and a team saw what Funcom was doing and thought, hey, we need to add some of that cool stuff to Star Citizen. For those of you listening on YouTube, I'm showing some Dune Awakening footage in the background. This is a game I'm definitely looking forward to playing, and it's slated for release in the spring of 2025. It looks incredible, and while the gameplay is different, there are still a lot of interesting similarities to Star Citizen's approach to base building and beyond. One of the coolest aspects of Dune Awakening's base building is that it's very co-op oriented. Unlike Star Citizen, it doesn't use drones to build bases. They have a blueprint system similar to what 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗏 is developing, but with an extra twist. In Dune Awakening, players can create their own blueprints and even sell them on an exchange. This means you could design a base, create a custom blueprint, and other players could buy and use it in their own games. A fantastic way to share creativity and share it within the community. And then there is the sandworm. The concept is pretty similar. You provoke the sandworm, it emerges, and then you have to fight it. I really like how Star Citizen has set this up as a group event, turning it into a dynamic battle where players from an organization or game party can work together to take it down. Once the sandworm is defeated, you can even salvage materials from it to craft items or upgrade your gear, adding even more layers to the gameplay. Dune Awakening, on the other hand, doesn't have the same mechanic. Their focus is different, but the parallels are there. Aside from the differences in scale and gameplay focus, Dune Awakening being a survival MMO compared to Star Citizen's persistent universe, well, it's funny to see some of the same elements like fabricators for building vehicles. There are so many connections between the two games, and I think it's no coincidence. It seems like 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗏 Games is not only reacting to the community but also taking note of developments in other games. It's like they're saying, hey, we need to keep up with what's cool and exciting. This is what players want. Funcom, the developer behind Dune Awakening, even mentioned in an interview how base building adds so much depth and enjoyment for players, based on their experience with previous games. And I think 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗏 felt that too. The good news for us Star Citizen players is that we are getting a base building system that's incredibly high fidelity, with detailed items, vehicles, and structures to match. Of course, it's going to take some time, probably a couple of years for all of this to fully roll out in Star Citizen. Meanwhile, Dune Awakening is coming in the spring of next year, and I'm genuinely excited for it. It'd be interesting to see how these two games continue to influence each other in the MMO space. Alright guys, as I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, I want to introduce a few different categories to keep things interesting. For example, I'd like to highlight something cool or important from Spectrum, Reddit, Twitter, wherever the conversation is happening. I'll pick a significant topic and we'll dive into it. I'll share my thoughts and hopefully it will spark some good discussion. Let's kick this off with something I found on Reddit, but it's also tied to Spectrum, which, as you know, is the official forum for Star Citizen and Cloud Imperium games. Recently, Richard Tyra, the senior game director for Squadron 42 and Star Citizen, responded to a bunch of community feedback, particularly around NPC gameplay and AI blades. A lot of players, especially those who like to run solo missions in the persistent universe, have been talking about how difficult it can be to manage larger ships without a crew. Not everyone has a group of friends or a big organization to back them up. And as we know, Star Citizen has a lot of solo players out there. Some of them own bigger ships and want the option to run those ships using NPC crew members or AI blades. Richard responded to these concerns on Spectrum, and the post got a lot of traction on Reddit as well. He addressed the issue directly, and I think it's worth sharing with you. So I'll read this response and then I'll give you my take on it. So here goes. A quick note to our solo players. Hey, so firstly, sorry for the slow response. I have unsurprisingly been very busy post-CitizenCon with 4.0 and Q1 initiatives. Secondly, I wanted to reassure everyone that AI blades are part of the 1.0 plan. They will not be as effective as other players and they will take additional power to run. We will also be offering a way of upgrading them through tiers, but again, they will never be as good as a good player. Also, as they also provide most of the functionality, NPC Crew will most likely be a post 1.0 plan. As I said in the presentation, Star Citizen is a universe that caters to all players, and that most definitely includes solo players. As with all games, some things will more suitable to solo than crew play and vice versa. With that said, I better get back to work as I have 2 games to ship for you all. Cheers, Rich. Alright, so what does this actually mean? And what do I think about it? First off, it means we will have NPC crew members. Yep, not until after 1.0 is released. That's fantastic news. While they won't be available right when Star Citizen 1.0 drops, they are giving us AI blades as a bridge. Now, as far as I understand, AI blades work somewhat like automated turrets. They react to enemy actions, although they won't be as effective as other players or even future NPC crew members. Still, they support multi-crew gameplay by adding these invisible players for your ship. They're essentially a technology you can install, though it does come at a cost. You have to purchase these AI blades and install them on your ship, which will then help you in combat situations by automating certain defensive functions. The best part, NPC crew members are on the roadmap for the future. They might not match the skill of experienced players, but they'll definitely enhance multi-crew gameplay and bring more depth to solo players who want a fuller experience on larger ships. However, I always recommend trying to crew up with real players. If you haven't already, join an organization or hop onto Discord to find players. You can even join my Discord server to connect with other players and set up events. With more in-game tools coming, you'll soon be able to find guides or look for players directly in the game to help with certain missions. Crew up your multi-crew ship or just team up for a fun session. Even if you are mostly a solo player, I'd say give it a shot, at least once or twice. Multi-crew play really adds a layer of immersion and social interaction that you can't get alone. It's a lot of fun, builds community and enhances the overall experience. Plus, it's a great way to connect and share the excitement of Star Citizen with others. Alright everyone, that wraps up my first episode of Lorville Stories. I kept it short and focused, covering just 2 main topics. Episode 1 is officially in the books, and as I mentioned, I'll be adding more categories as we go. But the goal is to keep it concise. 1 big topic each week, a few community highlights, and maybe some quick updates from around the Star Citizen universe. I'm really looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Please leave a comment below on YouTube, reach out on Discord or Twitter and let me know what you think. You'll find a link to my Twitter in the description, so feel free to connect there as well. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe and follow for more. I'm also live streaming regularly on YouTube, sharing gameplay and insights almost every day. So feel free to join in. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm already working on episode 2, which will be coming out next week. I can't wait to dive into more Star Citizen with you. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.